Morning, Chair. My name is Samuel Chege, Principal Auditor from the Office of the Auditor General.
You're welcome to Control of Budget.
Morning, Chair and members. All protocols observed. My name is CPA Nancy Kendi, Principal Fiscal Analyst, Parliamentary Liaison from the Office of the Controller of Budget.
You're welcome, National Treasury.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. My name is Dr. Cyrus Mwangi Munywa. I'm a parliamentary officer representing the National Treasury in this committee, Chair.
Thank you. Clerk, did you invite the County Assembly Public Accounts Committee?
Yes, Chair, we did invite them and they're present.
Chair, Public Accounts Committee, Kisumu County, if you're present, you could go on record.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Ken Ouko, Chair, Public Accounts and Investment Committee, Kisumu County Assembly. Thank you.
Are you with other members?
Yes.
Okay, please introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Seth Okumu, the MCA of East Semi and a member of the committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Austin Ochieng. I'm the committee clerk, Pipa Committee, County Assembly of Kisumu. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Chris Oguta. I'm the clerk assistant at the committee.
You are welcome. We then go to the executive. Governor Kisumu, please go on record.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Nyong'O, Governor Kisumu County.
Your delegation can also introduce themselves, just name and designation.
Mr. Chairman, my name is George Okong, the County Executive Committee member for Finance and Economic Planning.
Chairman, my name is Paul Jenga, Chief Officer of Finance.
Chairman, my name is Robert Omanjoga, County Solicitor, Kisumu County.
Chairman, my name is Philip Adundo. I'm a Chief Officer in County Government of Kisumu in charge of special delivery.
Speak on the mic.
Thank you. My name is Colin Somondi, CPA, Head of Financial Reporting Unit, Kisumu County.
My name is Kungu J. Otieno, Director of Revenue, Kisumu County.
Chair, my name is Odiamba Evans from the Office of the Chief Officer, Department of Agriculture, Kisumu County.
Chairman, my name is John Oyua, Chief Officer, Public Affairs and Communication. Thank you.
Chair, my name is Caroline Anjalo, Internal Auditor.
Chair, my name is CPSES Godfrey Dienya, Director of Audit, County Government of Kisumu.
Chair, my name is Eliud Obonyo, Acting Director, Supply Chain Management.
Okay, I think that wraps up the introductions. We appreciate the media who ensure that these proceedings are public. We then move to the next agenda, which is, I think we should have adopted the agenda earlier. So could I get a proposer?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Gatai.
I second, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Onyonka. Even though our agenda, we are done with the brief on the audit report, the brief by the Office of the Auditor General, and we have also taken note of the report by the Parliamentary Budget Office. We are supposed to consider the report of the Auditor General for 2 financial years, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and also to consider the receiver of revenue statement for the financial year 2021-2022. I think I will give certain directions, but once the oath has been administered. So, Clerk, let's move to the next order on administration of oath.
Aye. Anyang, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee, in respect of the matters before the committee, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, I hereby table the following documents before the committee: the management responses and accompanying annexures of the County Executive of Kisumu for the financial year 2020-2021 and 2021-2022.
I thought there's a third set of
Yes. Yeah, sure. Okay, for the financial year 2021, 2020-2021 and 2021-2022. And then response to the Senate on the report of the receiver of revenue of Auditor General and County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021.
receiver of revenue. I thought that was for 2022. Clerk, just guide the governor.
Yes.
Because your document is wrongly captioned. It's supposed to be 20. The receiver of revenue report was for 2022.
Okay. Can I say it again, please? Because 2022 wasn't it? Okay. Response to the Senate on the report of the receiver revenue of Auditor General on County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended June 30th, 2021 and 2022. And 2022.
There is CC. You must guide the governor because
2022. Oh, I see. Okay. No, because I think okay. Okay, so response to the Senate on the report of the receiver of revenue of Auditor General on County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2022.
Okay. Now, Auditor General, we've got three documents before us. Let us start with the response on the financial year ended 30th June 2022.
Point of order, Chair. Before the Auditor General proceeds, there's a small issue I would like to,
okay, so
if you will allow me. First of all, Governor Anyang, Governor, Senator Anyang, and it's a pleasure to see you here. The only thing that has disturbed me is that you came with 14 men and 1 woman. I don't know why Kisumu doesn't have any women who can come here to be witness to what you're coming to present.
Governor, I think the chairman answered this question last time. You know, we get these people appointed to the Public Service Board. We can't create them when we're coming here. So if they're in office, we're not going to manufacture a woman to be an office where she was not appointed to govern the service board.
Governor, can I just stop you there, please? What you're conflating 2 meetings. Yes. Because that was a meeting of the Public Investments Committee, which I attended. This is a different committee. And whereas that answer would make sense at peak, because you are dealing with institutions whose employees are appointed through the board that you are referring us to. This is your county executive. I don't think you can use.
I see what you mean. Okay. Well, I think there you catch me. So I think that quite a good part of this entourage here is part of the executive, appointed by Public Service Board. Now the people that I appoint are the people who are in front here.
Correct. So let's start with the ones who are in front.
The ones who are in front. Well, you know.
How many ladies, Governor, are supposed to be in front?
No, not supposed to be. How many ladies are there in the executive of the county government of Kisumu? There are 4 out of 10. But unfortunately, the portfolios they are responsible for are not which are expected to be in front of the committee today. The one expected to be committee today are these ones.
So, Governor, tell us those 4. What portfolios do they?
Very good. Those 4 hold the following portfolios. First of all, the county member of in charge of public service, public service, popular participation and governance in my office is a lady. Secondly, the minister in charge of water and environment is a lady. Thirdly, the minister in charge of trade, industry and tourism is a lady. The minister in charge of culture, tourism, youth and gender issues is a lady. Out of 10.
How many chief officers do you have, Governor?
I must have chief officers corresponding to the ministries.
Sorry?
10. And there are 10.
Yeah, sorry?
The chief officers that correspond to the ministries. And there are 10 ministries. How many are they, the women? I think there are 4.
There are 4 against 6.
Yeah. I think let's make
But I
quick
think
business of this.
Chair equally, even the assembly. It looks like ladies are not there, so they cannot be excused. So we want to know whether there are ladies in the Public Accounts Committee of Kisumu. Or there is no way that you can oversight the governor that he has complied with gender when you are not serious also with the gender issues.
Chairman?
Thank you, Chair. We have a lady. Out of 7 members, we have 1 lady. And this is according to the composition of the House. Actually, most of them, we only have 2 elected leaders. And the remaining are ladies nominated.
Okay, members, I think let's get back to the key focus, which is the billions of shillings that Kisumu County receives, and where the Auditor General has written an adverse opinion. I think we've got more problems there. But the point is made, Prof, that those of us who know you know that you are a serious campaigner for gender equity and parity, but it needs to be demonstrated even in your delegation. When you mentioned that trade industry is headed by a lady, I've seen some audit queries on markets, Kombewa market, trade-related issues. So at least that could have been relevant for the CEC to be here. But the point has been made. The rules that we are using here, you are the one who created them. I took this chair after you. So there are things, there are resolutions that have been made by the House, and you have been part of the thought process. So I know that if you are sitting where I'm sitting, you'll probably be concerned in the same way that the members of this committee are concerned. So members, let's now proceed to the core issues. The response for 2021-2022, Auditor General, have you reviewed it, and are you able to lead us in that conversation?
Sure, we are not able to lead a conversation on that, on the year ended 21-22. Basically because we received this response a bit late.
When did you receive the response?
We received it on Wednesday, 10th, and it did not have any annexures. So even if we had wanted to look at them, we could not have verified anything. This was received through email. Thank you.
What about the receiver of revenue statement?
The receiver of revenue was received on Tuesday, 9th of this month. It was also on email, but we had managed to look at it. But in our opinion, it would go well if we look to get them together with the financial statements for the year that 2021-2022. Thank you.
So, Prof, you understand the problem we have with backlog, that we should not be discussing 2020 in 2024. And that's why we compressed the 2 financial years, so that you make one visit to the Senate and we make use of a Monday when you are not sitting, when the House is not sitting, to clear those 2 financial years and the receiver of revenue statement. The Auditor General is reporting that we are unable to proceed with 2021-2022. Is there any reason that could have occasioned that delay in submission of records to the Auditor General?
I will ask George, the Minister for Finance, to respond. George.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the Governor, I think on this particular occasion, and it's the first time we are delayed by 1 day to submit the annexes in particular, I think it is because of the pressures we took from Senate within 1 week. We had an invitation to the Public Investments Committee for 3 financial years, again, and also 3 county funds. We tried to request that committee to give us a different date because we already had...
George, please refrain from discussing what is before other committees. Okay. We have just asked a simple question. What occasioned the delay? Because, you see, strictly speaking, with that report from the Auditor General, this meeting ought to have been adjourned by now.
Mr. Chairman, other than what I've just said, which I'm sorry is not relevant, the delay is mainly because of the staff capacity that we have. We do not have as many people as would have needed to serve the notices we had this particular month. If we had more people at the county treasury and more people in the departments, we would have managed the 2 invitations. We have less people.
What was your opinion in that financial year on the financial statements, Auditor General? What was your opinion on the?
It was an adverse opinion.
And what was your opinion on the receipt of revenue statement?
It was a disclaimer of opinion.
So, Prof, it means that this problem has not just started this week. You've got a systemic problem in the county. And we were, in our earlier brief, I think we are all uncomfortable with Kisumu having adverse opinions and disclaimers, knowing the background of the governor. Having been a chair, having been a member of the Senate, a disclaimer means that you have basically refused to cooperate with the Auditor General, isn't it? You have not provided any documentation to support your revenue. A disclaimer on revenue. I thought revenue would be the easiest thing to explain and to justify. And then you've got an adverse opinion on the financial statements for that financial year, 2021-2022. Prof, I think that does not fit very well with your reputation.
Mr. Chairman, I agree entirely with you, and I think that I'll take it up with the necessary department, because I don't understand whether that should be so. There should be a clear explanation.
So for 2021-2022, Auditor General, it is clear that we cannot proceed. For 2020-2021, did you receive the documentation in good time, and are you able to prosecute?
I wish to confirm that we received it within the timelines. That is, we received it on Tuesday, 9th of April, this month, which is exactly a week to the deadline.
Okay. Senator Chirage?
Well, it is important that we proceed. My only concern is a situation where we are having cross-cutting issues in the recent year of 2021-2022 and 2021-2022, and yet you are saying it was not submitted in time. How will we navigate that?
I think the cross-cutting issues are between the receipt of revenue statement and the financial statement for 2021-2022. So even if you are ready with the receipt of revenue, we cannot process it if you are not ready with the main financial statements.
That is true, Chair.
So for 2020-2021, we can deal with the issues.
We can deal with the issues, yes.
Okay. Chairman Park reports
before us.
Which is the last financial year that you dealt with as a committee?
2019-2020.
That is also very untidy to be discussing the year 2019 in 2024. What could be the reasons for that?
I think this comes to the other committee we had in the second assembly. They did very little work as compared to, so we got a lot of backlog of reports.
Mheshimiwa Uko, you've been in office for almost 2 years now.
Yes.
And you've been chair for almost 2 years.
Yes.
So what have you done in those 2 years with your committee?
So far, I have over 20 reports so far. 21 reports.
For which financial years?
For from 2019 to 2020, 2019 to 2022.
Yeah, I'm talking leave alone the funds.
Yes.
And leave alone the funds. I'm talking about the.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason why we invite you alongside the governor is sometimes we expect that you have already considered these reports because you have only one executive, as we've got 47 county executives to deal with. And if you're in that situation, you should never be five reports. Is it 5 or 4 reports behind?
Yes.
You are 4 reports behind. So we must encourage you, as a Public Accounts Committee of the Assembly, you exercise primary oversight.
Yes.
What we do is secondary. So it looks like there's a problem at the executive and there's a problem at the Assembly. So we just want to encourage you to pull up your socks and try to be as current as possible. The Senate should never be ahead of the County Assembly in consideration of audit reports. So if you had already considered this report, you would have benefited from your resolution and from your report. We will therefore do what we are not supposed to do, which almost looks like primary oversight. So please, I hope you'll take some notes from this session.
Thank you for the guidance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Members, do we agree then that we deal with the one financial year where the Auditor General is ready? Prof, now it is your loss because we had given you this opportunity to come and we finished 3 reports. I think it's to your benefit to clear these matters when you're still in office, to avoid a situation where we are invoking the Constitution when you're out of office to bring you before the Senate to explain things that you did while in office. So take it positively when we compile the years. It is to your benefit. So crack the whip on your officers because you now must make another trip to Nairobi for the other financial year, which we would have sorted out today. We can then go to the 2020-2021 report, Auditor General, give us your opinion, and then we go to the basis of the opinion.
Thank you, Chair. The report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021, report on the financial statements. It was an adverse opinion. The basis for adverse opinion was on unsupported receipt.
Just a minute. PDO, I saw you had a brief Parliamentary Budget Office. What was the opinion in the prior year? There was something that you had put in the file. Do you have it?
Could
you have it?
Yes.
What was the opinion in the prior year?
I can start from 2019.
Yeah, from 2019.
It was adverse.
Prof, you need to listen to this.
2020.
Just order, Prof. So that was 2019.
It was an adverse opinion.
2019, 2020.
2018, 2019.
Or 2018.
2019
was adverse.
An adverse opinion.
2019, 2020.
2019, 2020 was also an adverse opinion.
2020, 2021.
2020, 2021 it was an adverse opinion.
2021, 2022.
2022, 2021, 2022 it was also an adverse opinion.
So, Prof, 4 years of adverse opinion. Doesn't this constitute persistent material breach of the PFM Act and regulations?
That's what answer that, George.
No, Prof, I want I think I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
Definitely, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, that's serious. But then as a governor, I trust the management of financial matters to the finance minister and his team. And therefore, before even it goes to the auditor, they should have cleared the deck. That's why I'm asking, why was it an adverse opinion? I don't micromanage departments. I give them a responsibility.
Because these opinions were rendered during your time in office. I think 2018, 2019, you had taken over as the governor of Kisumu. You were no longer with us in the Senate. And when you sat on this chair, there was a long struggle with the Council of Governors on the responsibility of a chief executive officer. You do recall that you insisted, or the Senate insisted, that the governor is described as a CEO of the entity. And therefore, there are certain responsibilities that he holds, even though he does not micromanage or run the departments, but you are the captain of the ship. So I would not be very happy if you are very fast to pass the hot potato to the CEC. That's why I want your perspective as the CEO. The expectation is year one, you have an adverse opinion, then you must call your team to order, whip them, and give them instructions that it cannot be adverse again. But then it happens again, and again, and again. In that situation, there are certain conditional grants that you cannot receive. I think, for example, was it KDSP? There was a conditional grant that you could not receive if you had an adverse opinion. So there's a direct loss of money for the people of Kisumu. So there is a county where we said that, was it Nairobi, Senator Sifuna? Or?
Marsabit, where we denied them. They were losing because of
the adverse opinion.
That was Marsabit.
But we have also said as a house that where there is persistent material breach of the law, as evidenced by the opinion of the Auditor General, then there is the provision on stoppage of funds. I think that is article, is it 225 or 252, thereabouts. Because 4 years of adverse opinion tells you that there is something wrong.
The Chairman, that's why I changed the finance minister in 2020 and got a new finance minister, because I realized that the finance minister was not being the captain of the ship when I give them trust to run the ministry. Like you, I take this very seriously, because quite honestly, we depend largely for development projects on donor funds and other funds that are negotiated directly with the private sector. Therefore, I expect the public funds managed by the ministry to manage properly. And you're right. I would be the last person to deny that statement that you made.
Auditor General, what is the status of 22-23?
There has been some marked improvement. I want to confirm that the report for the year ended 30th June 2023 was a qualified opinion.
Yes.
But I think they can go ahead and get an unqualified if they...
Yes, we will go into that. I just wanted to know if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, Prof.
There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel, and I'd like the Minister of Finance to be very frank with the committee over these issues. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's what the Governor has said. There was a change at the Treasury. I came in 2020. And since then, there has been an improvement. In fact, the report of 2020-2021, when I came in midway, was an adverse opinion. 2021-2022, when we discussed it, Mr. Chairman, I think the county will raise some issues on that opinion in terms of whether it was adverse or qualified when that time comes. But 2022, 2023 is qualified. So there has been a marked difference. Speaking for myself as the new minister who was appointed, I think I have driven change in 2 years.
Now, let's look at the basis of the adverse opinion and see whether there has been an improvement, as you have indicated, because many of the issues here the brief we have received from the Auditor General is that he's still dissatisfied with their resolution. So, members, can we go to the basis of the opinion? Auditor General, start with your basis for adverse opinion and supported receipts.
Paragraphs. Basis for adverse opinion and supported receipts. Paragraph 1.1. The statement of financial performance for the year ended 30th June 2021 reflects total receipts of Kenya shillings 10,176,279,074, which has not been supported by ledgers from the Integrated Financial Management Information Systems. Chair, I wish to confirm that the only subsequent amounts that they were able to demonstrate to us was 138,065,137. An amount of 10,038,214,037. It has not been supported so far. Thank you.
Governor, your response to 1.1.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the Governor, I will read the county response. The management, through the support of the National Treasury, had initiated modalities to ensure that all receipts, both exchequer and on-source revenue, are captured in the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, and we have attached ledgers for 2023-2024, which are half-year postings, and now we are compliant. We have also annexed 854, which are found on page 22 to page 31. Mr. Chairman, if you go to the volume page 22 to page 31, are annexes. Yeah.
Is any member able to make sense of
the journals that confirm the postings that we are making now?
Of 22 to 31.
We need to stick to explanations in the financial year under discussion. You will be able to demonstrate the changes that have been made or what you're doing now when we discuss those financial years. What you need to do is to paint to the committee. Why would there not be ledgers from IFMIS for receipts during that financial? Where are those ledgers? We know you are currently doing them, and if the next years you are pointing us to are for 2023-2024, that it doesn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman, that's why the response starts with citing the support from the National Treasury, because in the previous years before this committee we have cited the lack of capacity and tabled letters that were written for National Treasury to assist in the previous reports, and we are saying that the Treasury has now come in handy, even though they came in later. That's
You're saying the problem was Treasury?
The problem was backlog in the IFMIS system, for which we needed technical assistance from the National Treasury, and we wrote to them. I think we have tabled those letters before. We can bring them again.
Dr. Munywa, when a county receives money from Exchequer, how is that receipt captured in IFMIS? Someone has to go into IFMIS and create a record for the receipt, or how does it work? Just explain it to us.
Thank you, Chair. When the National Treasury releases the Exchequer to a county government, it receives that money in their CRF, and it's upon them now to post it according to the items as per their budget. Then from there, they are able then to utilize the money according to the votes as posted.
So you can only spend once, you can only spend what you have received, isn't it?
Actually, yes. County government are supposed to spend within the ambit of their votes. They cannot spend beyond the arm's length.
So, Dr. Munywa, clear something for me. If the Auditor General wants this to be supported by ledgers, what are those things? You know, some of us are not accountants. What are these ledgers that they need to, the Auditor General needs to see so that he clears the governor?
Actually, say like this in particular, this query where we have unsupported receipts. This is a receipt they have received the money, but they cannot show how they received the money. Because once you receive,
what do you mean? By M-Pesa or by cash? What do you mean how they received?
Okay, let me make a demonstration.
Yes, please.
Because the county government receives money from the exchequer and also receives money through their own source revenue.
Okay.
Now, let us say an example of a receipt from car park in Kisumu City. That particular receipt is supposed to be supported by either the official receipt. We have the official receipt if they are using manual. But if they are using the system generates a receipt which is supposed now to support this amount of money that the county has received from a particular individual or organization. That is the supporting document that the Auditor General wants to see.
So what challenge are you having, George, if this money is being sent to you from Treasury and he has explained, how is it not possible to generate those receipts from the system?
See? Mr. Chairman, as I explained the capacity deficits that we had, for which we needed help from the National Treasury, and so it's true that the reports then were generated manually and not through IFMIS until we got that help. But I have the head of reporting here who can also explain that more in response to what Treasury has said.
No, Prof, I think we are finding that explanation to be lazy. It is an issue of credit and debit. When you receive money, you create a credit entry. Is it a credit entry? When you spend money, you create a debit entry. And any accountant, any person with that responsibility should know that for you to be able to spend on IFMIS, there must be a corresponding credit. So it's laziness, it's not capacity. We have gone to far-flung counties like Turkana, they don't have these problems. I don't expect Kisumu City to have that kind of deficit, that you've got accountants who do not know how to debit and credit in the system. So it's a lazy excuse, and we do not expect that these are the issues that should be coming out of Kisumu City County. It's debit credit. So the head of reporting, what do you have to say?
Chair.
Okay, let's hear from the head of reporting, then we come back to Senator Cherarke.
Okay, thank you, Chair. It is true that PFM Act requires 100% reporting from IFMIS. And when CC brought some changes within finance, we realized that indeed the officer was supposed to post these transactions in IFMIS had capacity challenges. And resorted to posting these things manually. So manual report was correct, but however, when auditor warned us that this had to be seen to reflect 100% posting in IFMIS. So to resolve that issue, the annex that is just posted here, we started from right now from 1st July. When we get disbursement notice from the National Treasury, we pick the same data and enter the same in IFMIS with the references that are within CBK or Central Bank of Kenya. So our plan, through the support of Chief...
So the guy who was being paid a salary to do that was not doing that?
He was somehow analog, Mr. Chair. So that's where we...
Prof. I'm not feeling very much at ease. These are not stories that should come from a city headed by Professor Nyong'O. I think we have very, very high expectations of your government and very high expectations of your leadership. So now you hear people who are being paid salaries to do jobs that they weren't doing. And I think that's where the problem lies. You must, your troops around you, you must crack the whip. Otherwise, they're going to drag your name in the mud.
Yeah.
You know, this is such a simple thing that should not arise. In fact, we should not even have spent all this time on it. But let me hear from Senator Cherargei then.
Chair, it looks like all city counties are getting adverse opinion. That is coming only from Nairobi and now Kisumu. I hope the new cities that are joining will not join in the background. But my comment, Chair, is this document of Annex 854 and 2232 is system generated, but you can hardly make out what is this document is about, unless you are using microscope to read some of this generated. Or was it generated for only face value to just be part of it? Because even people who are using reading glasses, I doubt if they can make out. Unless, Chair, we were just passing time with it. Chair.
Senator Cherargei, and I think I agree with Senator Sifuna's earlier assertion that we should not be talking of what is happening now. We should focus on the year under review, because I think those I thought I was the only one with a problem. And then they are totally irrelevant to the question because they cannot even be read. I don't know whether anyone is able
but
to
the
read.
biggest problem, Chair, is this. First, Cherargei observes rightly that they are not legible documents. I think maybe if we see it on a screen, it might be clearer. You'll explain that to us. But the point is, if it was as simple as printing something from a system like this, then that guy must have been a terrible officer. I wanted to know, Prof, is this somebody you hired or you found him at the county?
Mr. Chairman, the trouble with us really, Kisumu County and Nairobi County. Nairobi is a city county. Kisumu is a county which inherit a lot of municipality workers, and they are permanent and pensionable. So processing it out of the system takes time. That's why when he says the guy was there was analog, I can understand, because we have quite a number of them occupying very important positions, but permanent and pensionable. So you keep on shifting them around. They don't do any better. And you can't dismiss them because we have found court cases facing us when you deal with such people that way. So it's kind of a conundrum we are involved in, waiting for time to process these people out of the system.
Senator Cherargei, your mic is on. Are you still
yes, only the management response were on 854A. I wanted to ask something on 854B, but it looks like it was only meant for, I think on part 1. I don't know whether the governor had responded on part 2. On not yet.
Part 2 not yet. Senator Mtata, please go on record. Have your mic on.
It's faulty.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators, Your Excellency, Professor Nyong'O and your team. My name is Okiya Mtato Koiti, Senator from Busia and a member of this committee. Most welcome.
You're welcome, Senator Omtata. Now, members, I think let's move a bit faster now on the other issues. 1.2, Auditor General.
1.2, Chair. This was...
just read it. I think it will be...
further, total receipts include counting generated receipts of Kenya shillings 1.248063960, which includes a main revenue generated using Safaricom platform, star 825 hash through 65 pay bill accounts as detailed in Appendix 1. However, the revenue statement Safaricom for each of the pay bill was not provided for audit. I wish to confirm that this issue, we were provided with statements to support the amount, and the amount was 4 million. The amount that we were querying, and the amount was 14 million.
Auditor General, I think for us to read the finding, allow the county to respond, and then you'll make the explanation
Okay, fine.
Afterwards.
All right.
Okay, the county's response?
It's on page 2, Mr. Chairman. The response up there says the county government collected 14,395,393 shillings as on-source revenue on generated receipts from 65 pay bill accounts. The revenue statements have since been provided, and the summary of the 65 pay bill statements are hereby attached. It's important to note that the county closed all the dormant pay bills and currently operating one pay bill. So if you look at the annexes 854B, page 32 to page 35, you will see the those things can be read. 32.
Auditor General, so what are you explaining?
I was explaining that our query had been addressed because they provided the supporting Safaricom statements and we were able to check them. The amount in question was 14,395,393. Thank you, Chair.
Professor, why, if the statements, if the revenue statements were available at the time of audit, why were they not presented?
So, Chairman, I remember that we had to exchange correspondence a bit with Safaricom on availability of these statements, and they provided them to us after the audit. They argued that at their own office they needed time, that the statements were bulky. But again, if this committee wants evidence of those correspondences at the late submission to us by Safaricom, we can present it.
Which is the revenue statement in these annexures? How does it look like?
The annexures on page 32, 854B, it discloses the pay bills that are in question for which we submitted the statements.
Yes, so where is a sample of the statement, of the revenue statement, for at least one of the pay bills?
Mr. Chairman, they were reviewed by the auditors on site.
George, what you say is that they do not form part of these annexures. So that we can move.
No, but then what then is our job as a Senate? If the Auditor General has said that there are certain statements that were missing and has made that part of the report and has caused the county to get an adverse opinion, we cannot sit here and then be told that the auditor has reviewed and now it is okay. Why then do you come to the Senate? How do we close the issue without seeing that evidence that the Auditor General had put at the time of audit? And I'm not saying give us 65 statements. I'm just asking, show us a sample of a statement of one of the pay bills.
Chairman, can I inquire, how were those statements sent to the auditor? Are they in soft or hard copy?
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm informed the statements were sent to the auditor both in hard and soft copy. So the soft copy is
so even if they are bulky, it was possible for you to share with the committee just on soft, so that we can have a sample. That's what the chairman is asking. There's no reason for you to exclude that material.
Governor, you see our problem. Do you know how the Safaricom revenue statement looks like?
Mr. Chairman, we hired Safaricom to collect revenue for us. I trust they're collecting revenue and giving reports to the county. I guess what the finance minister is saying is that in annexes 854B, we on page 32 to page 35 is an itemization of the revenue streams and where they were collected and report how much was collected, which then accounts for the amount of money in question. I don't think that it would have been possible to carry receipts where the evidence has already been given here, one by one, that answers the auditor's question.
Professor, you had to redo your financial statements. Your financial statements for this financial year were due on 30th of September. You redid your financial statements and presented a new set of financials in March. 2022, in March. That was almost 6 months. Was that 6 months? No, that's not 6 months. That's 9 months. 9 months after the closure of the financial year. Auditor General, is that correct?
Correct.
So 9 months after closure of financial year, this matter is still outstanding. So what I'm asking as a chair, for me to say the matter has been resolved, because the query here is that revenue statements from Safaricom were not provided for audit review. Remember, these are financial statements of
June 2021.
That restated in March 2022.
Yes, the summary of audit adjustments were taken into account on that
30th of March.
In March, yes.
So you're a lot of time. You're a lot of time. You made adjustments to financial statements 9 months later. This matter was still unaddressed. So for this committee to say that, yes, we are now satisfied, what do we need to see? A sample of a revenue statement.
Can you answer that, please? Yeah, through the governor. Mr. Chairman, we agree that the annexes are summaries and the committee needs to look at the statements from Safaricom. We've answered that they are submitted both hard and soft copies. The only thing we can do right now, Mr. Chairman, is if we get an email, it can be forwarded right now because they're in full. Just the email that sent them, the same thing can be forwarded right now.
But why would we now be admitting additional evidence for an exercise that should have been done about 2-3 years ago, and where you had another 9 months to make adjustments? You see, it then turns this committee to be auditors, not to be what we are supposed to be as an institution where policy and legislative decisions are taken. We're not becoming accountants, basic accountants, which we should not be. So on that, Auditor General, we will give the county the benefit of doubt. And when we are writing our report, we will be sitting together with you. I hope you will be able to demonstrate to us that those revenue statements were provided and show us how they look like. But otherwise, I feel very uncomfortable saying the matter has been resolved when I have no idea how that revenue statement looks like.
Chair, we will confirm that we have the statements from Safaricom. What we cannot authenticate is that the leader came from Safaricom. But when we are auditing, we are stopped from being suspicious that some frauds have been committed.
Yeah, so you see, you have it, you don't trust its source. As we don't have it, so we are blind. We are not completely blind, and we are the ones who are supposed to say that this matter is resolved. You see how
if we doubted that they are not correct, we can do some alternative tests, and the alternative test is to request them to allow us to contact Safaricom for them to confirm to us directly.
Because in my mind, a revenue statement should be at the same level of importance as a bank certificate, bank account certificate.
Yes.
So authenticity, in fact, you as Auditor General, you've got the power to get a bank certificate directly, isn't it?
We do that.
You have the same power to get these revenue statements.
We can request them, but then we will need also them to confirm to Safaricom that this amount can be confirmed to us directly.
Chair, I think the Office of the Auditor General is being extremely unfair. Both to the committee and to this entity. You know, once you have rendered an adverse opinion, I thought there are serious problems in Kisumu. We're sitting here discussing statements that you could very easily have obtained. We have had this discussion in another county. I don't remember which one it was, Chair. But at your level, Auditor, you are able to write Safaricom and they will give you what you are looking for, especially if it is an account run by the public entity. Are you saying you need the permission?
We are not the bookkeepers, we are auditors. What we do share, we request permission. If for any reason we don't...
I'm asking you, do you require the permission to authenticate a document?
We cannot just write to Safaricom.
Chair,
Auditor, you are losing track. Patrick, what do you want to say?
Thank you, Chair. The procedure for us to be able to verify the evidence directly from Safaricom is to the client to write to Safaricom to confirm to us directly. That is the established procedure.
That cannot be correct. You are suspecting them of giving you fake documents, and you again go through them to get authentication.
We are not suspecting them.
No, it's the basis. If you want to confirm something, you are doubting its authenticity. How do you ask the person to give it to you?
What I was saying, Chair, and maybe I was quoted out of context. What I meant is, unless we suspect something is wrong, that is when we would need to go the forensics way, which are, and there are various ways of engaging.
Okay, Auditor. Senator Bulo?
I think, Chair, much of the issues I wanted to raise has been raised by Senator Sifuna. And I think even from the briefing, we have been told hard copies of certain documents were not presented to you as auditors from Kisumu City. And right now, you are even confusing us more when you are actually doubting the statement from Safaricom, which I believe that you have powers to write to Safaricom and ask for the authenticity of that particular document. So I think you are taking us round in circles. Yeah?
Chair, before my colleagues
yes, Patrick,
make a comment, I want to say that the established procedure for what we call third-party confirmation is that the client writes to the bank or the institution to write to us directly, so that they know the request is coming from the client.
Then why didn't you do that instead of confusing us here?
Sorry, Chair, maybe I've been misunderstood. What I meant is, I did not doubt that the documents that were presented to us were forgery, right? But they came late. If I had any reason to doubt that they were not genuine documents, it is my responsibility.
Chair, is the auditor not retracting from what he had just said, because it's on record?
You know, I'm very uncomfortable with this conversation because I do not have a statement before me. You're discussing something that I'm blind to, and that is my concern. An established procedure here, and the people who establish these procedures are none other than Professor. If an auditor cites something and says that this documentation was not provided for audit review, when you come to the Senate, you come with that documentation that was required. It's the only way to close it. It cannot be a story. So that's why I'm very uncomfortable to be told that the auditor is looking at something which now is giving birth to a lot of issues, and these members of the committee are blind to it. So I was saying that when we are doing our report, we will need to show us those statements. And someone introduced themselves here as Director Revenue. Director Revenue. Were you Director Revenue at that point in time? So give the Director mic, because now we need to find out these people who are sleeping on the job. You are Director Revenue. You've got all these 65 pay bills. The Auditor General is asking for a simple revenue statement. Why did you not provide the revenue statement to the Auditor General? Because I believe that lies within your functional domain.
Thank you, Chair. We did provide supporting documentation from the pay bills, from the access that you can have from the system. However, the documentation was summarized. The auditors wanted the detailed statements, which we could only get from Safaricom.
As Director Revenue, I believe that is what you eat and breathe and live for. Knowing how much money you have collected and being able to ascertain the completeness of the records that you have. In fact, if the government was to ask you today, how much have you collected, or how much did you collect yesterday, are you able to tell?
Chair, yesterday we collected 300,000. It was a Sunday.
300,000. So this query that has been sitting in the books for so long, why were you unable to provide the detailed responses as required by the Auditor General?
Chair, as Waziri Finance mentioned, it was a prolonged engagement with Safaricom to get the statements. There's correspondence between the county and Safaricom going for about 2 weeks before finally.
Going for 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes.
2 weeks?
Yes.
Not a delay, bro.
During the time of the audit.
Yes, but 2 weeks, the audit is still going on. Can I find out, these statements, are they not things you just regularly and ordinarily ask for, so that you have a sight of what is going on, or you only request for them when there's a request?
Chair, follow-up question that the Senator Sifuna is asking. Let me ask, do you do your bank reconciliation of the cash book? Do you monthly? If it is yes, this statement must be given. It's everywhere. So when I said, we don't even look for, you don't even wait for 15 days you're talking about.
This question is actually directed to the LG. When you started the audit, did you have your first management meeting with the county executive, and did you have your exit meeting? Because the impression I'm having, there's an absolute disconnect between what you've been doing and what is on the table.
Mr. Chairman, can you let the Minister for Finance clarify this issue? Because I think we are dancing around the pin. Can you proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we sort of are could be mixing up two things. The statements we do get summarized, like the Director of Revenue said, including the sweeping of that revenue to the County Revenue Fund. So it is possible to do reconciliations. The numbers are there. They're summarized for the weeks. What the auditor needed, which we supplied in soft copy, are transactions, actually, individual transactions. Everybody who paid parking by pay bill, on what day, what time. There are Excel sheets. They give you the M-Pesa reference numbers, the ones that you get when you make a transaction. So the auditor wanted each one of those. On just one Excel sheet that I've opened, there are 28,000 transactions. Just one. Another one has 30-something thousand. So it's not really statements, because if you use the word statements, it sounds very summarized. It is individual transactions with M-Pesa reference numbers, and they're like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, but a spreadsheet with 28,000 records is not necessarily 28,000 pages. So that cannot be an excuse for not providing it to the Senate. So let's close this by saying that when you're writing a report, Auditor General, you'll take us through that. But I think going forward, if we find that the evidence that is required has not been presented to the Senate, then we will have to terminate this exercise, because it cannot be that you tell us we have already given it to the Auditor General. If that is the case, why then do you come to the Senate? So let's try and make some progress. Go to number 1.3. 1.3. 1.3, is this still outstanding?
Yes, it is still outstanding.
Okay, then read it out.
The Finance Act 2020 indicated that various departments were to collect revenue on behalf of the state government. However, supporting documents for revenue collected by the department, such as bank statements, official receipt and control collection sheets, are not provided for audit verification, except for the Department of Health. The accountability by the correcting department was not evident, and therefore receiving and banking in the county revenue fund account, as required by law, will not be confirmed.
Yeah, the county's response.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I'll allow the Director of Revenue to handle that.
Please proceed, and let's be fast.
Thank you, Chairman. As indicated by the auditor, we have revenues from other departments.
Order. You must first read your written response.
Thank you for correction.
The explanations.
Our response is that reports of revenue collected by other departments are submitted to the Revenue Directorate together with the deposit slips. The deposit slips are verified against the bank statements and traced to the County Revenue Fund for accountability.
What question are you answering? Because that does not answer the audit query. The auditor is asking for bank statements, official receipts, and control collection sheets for audit verification. In your response, you have not mentioned any of that. It's like you are answering your own question. So, Auditor General, did you get the bank statements, official receipts, and control collection sheets for the other departments? Because you're saying only the Department of Health provided them. Did you get for the other departments?
No, the documents are yet to be provided.
Okay, so that's what we need to deal with. That is a question. Director, did you read this audit query?
The bank statements for the County Revenue Fund have all been shared with the auditors for that particular financial year.
Professor, this is a problem that I've been speaking about from the beginning. Your guide tells us they've been shared with the Office of the Auditor General. So it means that us, we are irrelevant. Why are we having this session? Why, you know why you can present it for this exercise. And you know, I've found, Professor, and that's why I'm not limiting this conversation to only you as a CEO, because I found in many cases, you officers tend to do a lot of shady things that even the governor might not be aware of. So we will also be putting officers on the spot, especially where there are queries that relate to their functional domains. Like these revenues, if you have a director of revenue, really he needs to be giving us better explanations than what we are getting. He's not dealing with the audit query.
Mr. Chairman, my understanding is that the bank statements have been given to the auditors. I don't know why the auditors are not accepting
The Auditor General, as I said, the only thing they got was for the Department of Health.
So, did you give all the bank statements? I don't understand.
In what date and in what form?
The bank statements were given together with responses, as indicated.
Which responses? The ones that we have.
The ones that we have.
Can you point us to the page or the annexure that has the statements?
No, they were given during the audit exercise on the ground.
Auditor General. We'll put you on oath, Director Revenue. Professor, you guys are making our work hard unnecessarily. This was a very simple matter of providing bank statements, official receipts, control collection sheets. That is a question, and the answer does not deal with that. What we expect is to be told that the bank statements for the Trade Department, bank statement for whichever other department have been provided to the Auditor General, refer to Annex XYZ for a sample. It does not even have to be the entire thing. It can just be a sample, and then mark the matter as result.
That's the final response, please, because this is a very simple thing.
Mr. Chairman, through the governor, the statements were provided, but again, given 2 days, we can bring another submission. If the General says he can't look at it.
It cannot be, we cannot take it with seriousness that you say they were provided, and the Auditor General, who has a constitutional responsibility and who's bound by certain codes of professional conduct, says that they did not receive it.
Chair, the auditor says only those relating to the Department of Health were submitted. Could that be what is causing confusion with you, CC? Because if they were provided for all other departments, the auditor would not deny. How would they deny that they have received one and say they have not received from another? And during the audit process, I don't know how you demonstrate that it was given during the audit process, because they are not usually acknowledged that I have received until we do this exercise. And what the chair is saying, you can save yourself a lot of trouble by just annexing them to both the responses to them and the responses to the committee, so that we can just open a page and say, Auditor General, these statements are here. So as it is right now, you have put us in an awkward situation.
Chair, I wanted to clarify that it's only Health Department which has got its own bank account. All other revenues go to one revenue account, and it is that one revenue account whose statements were given to the auditors. So it's only Health that has an individual revenue account. All the rest go to one account.
Chair.
Omar?
I ask again because I asked before. You prepare bank reconciliation. And when? At what?
Chair, we do prepare bank reconciliations on a monthly basis.
Is that time when you have?
We release by the 5th of every month.
5th of every month. Then if you do 5th of every month of the joint account you're talking about, then how comes you cannot surrender the statement? Because bank reconciliation is more of statement.
In addition to what the Director of Revenue said, all the others go to the CRF. It's that help that improve an FIF and other arrangement that goes to a different account. If you look at the annex on page 37, we break down figures from the CRF for that particular year to say which one came from which department. So basically, that's what we can do if all the money goes to one account and we are provided statements on that account. We can only give a breakdown of the one that we have given on page 37, including Department of Agriculture, Commerce, Lands, Education, and every other, roads.
Well, Professor, you have a serious problem with revenue management. A serious problem. I've tried to listen to the director, and I thought he was going to shed light on issues. The receiver, this financial year, the receiver of revenue statements were not being prepared. So your entity started preparing them in 2021, 2022. Isn't that the case, OAG?
It is true, Mr. Chairman.
So ordinarily these queries would fall within the receiver of revenue report. But I'm looking at the receiver of revenue report, your receiver of revenue statement. The opinion of the Auditor General disclaimer. A disclaimer. You know what that means. You have employed someone as director or receiver of revenue. How then do you get a disclaimer? Because disclaimer means you did not provide any documentation to support your receipts. You've got a serious problem. And it's just that today we are not going to go into this report. But when you're preparing to come and discuss this report, do a lot of soul searching on the manner in which revenue is being managed in Kisumu County. I don't know whether you've got a revenue board or it's just a departmental responsibility.
We have a revenue board, which was established 5 months ago.
5 months ago.
Yeah.
Let them look at this report as a matter of priority, so that they can take the necessary corrective action to ensure there's transparency in management of revenue. So again, we are leaving issue 1.3 without having clarity on whether these questions were supported, but we'll have that discussion at our next session when you're looking at the receiver of revenue statement. Let's go to the next issue on unsupported adjustments in the financial statements. Auditor General, is this resolved or this is outstanding?
The part of it is resolved, that part of it is outstanding.
Okay, then read it out.
Unsupported adjustments in the financial statements. Management submitted financial statements to the Auditor General on 30 September 2021 in line with the Public Management Finance Management Act 2012. A revised set of financial statements was submitted on 21st March 2022 with general interest to support the changes in the previous balances not provided for audit review. The changes are as detailed below. So there was country-generated receipt, compensation of employees, use of goods and services, other grants and transfers to other government entities, social security benefits, acquisition of assets, cash and cash equivalents, and prior adjustment. In the circumstances, the accuracy of the financial statements could not be confirmed. Chair, I wish to confirm.
I'll allow the county to first respond.
Mr. Chairman, we have attached the respective journals for the audit review, and the variances of 14,334,104 and 30,314,503 are reported by the auditor on other grants and transfers and social security benefits are inaccurate. The correct variances are 17,334,104, which is the difference between 301,528,723 minus 291,194,619 and 11,139,474 shillings, which is again the difference between the figures in brackets 32,45,061 and 21,305,587 for other grants and transfers and social security benefits respectively. We have provided the Annex 10 to the amended financial statements, which are correcting those inaccuracies from page 50 to 122, and also another set of annexes correcting the statements from page 36 to 108 in the annexes.
Why are you disputing the figures of the Auditor General, and yet the report that I have here under row number 4, other grants and transfers, the difference is 17.3 million. Are we looking at the same report? So why are you disputing that? And row number 6, social security benefit, the difference is 11.1 million. So what's the condition?
The head of reporting can help.
Thank you, Chair. That was our corrected analysis. We can provide the original analysis and you'll see the variances.
I don't understand you. Are you saying the table at page 2 is the
We corrected it.
So the original should be in the audit report itself?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll find it from.
No, I'm still not following.
We tried to do correct analysis.
You have said here,
yes,
the variances of 14.3 and 30.3 as reported by the auditor on other grants and transfers are inaccurate.
Yes, from their report.
Which other report? And I'm seeing the same figure here, because you can cast a doubt on the work of the Auditor General. In fact, Chair, I have the actual audit report here with me, unless we are looking at...
yeah, please test it.
Yeah, so at page 3 of the Auditor General's report, other grants and transfers is the same figure, 17,334,104. I sent out an original Auditor General's report.
True.
Auditor General, is it possible to have 2 reports from your office for the same financial? Let's get the figures from.
It's not possible.
Do you know
what may have happened is that they may have released their own financial statements and probably not submitted them to us.
Do you have a copy of that old Auditor General's report? That we see. Do you have it?
We can share the email that this question originated from, and no longer we are trying to argue with them to accept the correct position of the
There's no arithmetic error here. The figures you are asserting to be true are the figures in the Auditor General's report. So when for you to say that the Auditor General is inaccurate, you know, you must give us the basis for that, because what you are saying should be the figure is what is in the Auditor General's report. And there's only one report that is on the table of the Senate. We have no visibility on the ML as Senate. We have no visibility on the draft report. The only thing that is visible to us as a Senate is this report that was tabled on 19th of October 2022. And this is the report that should be responding to, not other private conversations with the Auditor General.
Chair, if allow us, we complete the evidence to show that.
Which other evidence outside this report that was tabled in the Senate, which other evidence do you want to introduce?
The original audit credit.
Prof, can you teach your guys how to deal with these things? How can we be discussing a management letter? The Senate only discusses the Auditor General's report as tabled in the House, and that must be the basis upon which your team responds.
Chairman, I was just asking you to give him a hearing. What he's trying to explain to you. What are you trying to explain?
Well, he wants to give us another report of the Auditor General away from this. And this is the only report that we have.
Chair, could I please ask? I asked a question and it was brushed aside. Did you have management meetings between yourselves and this team and the exit meeting?
We do have, and we did have a exit meeting as required by the Public Audit Act. And our audit engagement is normally continuous, so we are always together. Okay.
So you've been meeting this team?
And we have minutes to this effect that we met. And
you've been meeting and you've been discussing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Prof, I get a feeling that your team was not very well prepared for this session, because I would not expect this. And Auditor, when you saw this response, did you, because you saw this earlier, what feedback do you give back to the county?
Oh, of course, we told them that that kind of defense is not necessary, is not right.
Chair, yes, we can also confirm that after the response by the client, our team had a virtual meeting to discuss the response and the report of the Auditor General in preparation to come to Senate. So there are preparations, and I think this issue is already interrogated at that level, because our procedures require that before we come to Senate, we must have a meeting with the client to discuss the issues. It is on that basis we now prepare this brief that comes to Senate. Thank you, Chair.
Now, to the substantive thing, because this is arising out of what we have just been discussing, is arising out of your response, where you're disputing the Auditor General's numbers, and yet the numbers that we have seem to be the numbers that, you are disputing something that we don't have visibility of. Let's take other grants and transfers, where the difference is 17.3. Yeah. So, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, Prof, that you submitted your financial statements in March 2022. That was 9 months later. So the question the Auditor General is asking, the channels that made those adjustments, how come at the end of the financial year, you had 308 million, and then when you restated your financial statements, it went down to 291 million? What are the channels supporting that variance of 17 million? Auditor General, is that the question you're asking?
Sure, that's
yes.
what we're asking.
Yes. So give us that.
The journals are, as I said, the response and the pages are different, but I'm saying specific journals can be presented by the director, but anyway, the journals are 60 pages, and the other set of journals are 70 pages.
Sorry. Seriously, what do we have to us?
We have a set of journals making the correction to financial statements.
Which one do we have in the pack? In the pack here. Because that is what the Auditor General was asking for. That is why this matter found its way in the final audit report. So just illustrate to us the journals, and we can pick
one of them is on page 36. Mr. Chairman. 38 or
36 is
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. There's a journal at 36 and 38. Is that also the one for 85 million?
Yes.
So you have only those two.
You're more fast than I am. Page 36 is the one headed Annex 855A.
Yes.
This 121. 54. 55 use of goods and transport to other government entities. It's 17.
Okay, just explain to us that what you have on page 36.
So, thank you, Chair. What brought the movement of 316, 796, 178? The journal was passed to affect two accounts. One of the accounts was also revenue that was debited, and the prior adjustment was credited to sort out the correction why the movement went from 931 to 1.2 billion.
Auditor General?
We can see the document, but there are no supporting documentation to show why that adjustment was done. Those are the questions we are asking.
It's not just the JV, because there must be something to support, because you're saying on source revenue.
Yes.
As at 30th September, you reported 931 million. When you resubmitted your financial statements, it had jumped up to 316 million. Even when you're passing that journal, shouldn't there be a schedule that then describes that additional revenue?
Yes, Chair. There is a schedule that supports that. Just opposite that journal, yes, sorry, it is faint. The 316 came from health, which was not included when the first set of...
Can anyone make sense of page 37? What information can we make on this?
I thought it's the same with the 26 up to 32. It's the same issue, they annexed in the first audit.
Do the capacity include a lack of a photocopier?
Perhaps, your team can take us through the one on page 38, because I can see there is a clearer document attaching it. Next to it, page, it's labeled 51, but should be page 39.
Okay.
You said your title is?
Financial reporting.
Please, take us through the document at page 38 so that we get some clarity.
Mark 51.
Thank you very much. The movement, so two accounts affected.
Yes.
The first account was use of goods, and the next account that was affected was compensation of employees.
Yes.
So use of goods increased, but the supporting schedule that you are seeing alongside and compensation of employees reduced by the same amount. So the schedule, if you look at it, the transactions are not payroll in nature. Most of them are interest that were taken to address operations activities. So we saw during the audit review that they were not part and parcel of compensation of employees, but was supposed to be considered an use of goods. And that's why use of goods increased.
But use of goods increased by 134 million, not just 85.
Yes, Chair. At times you will find movement coming from other votes. So if we add plus other votes, which I believe are listed here, we'll see that it moved. If we put them together, will be a total amount of movement.
Is that the journal at page 54?
Let me check. Yes, you see, that place again, you see use of goods is also affected.
So, as the chair's question, if you add that amount, does it come to the total figure that the chair was speaking to?
It doesn't, because this is 1.1 that relates to row number 5.
Yes. So it can, okay. My brother, Senator Sifuna, seems to be getting the witness. I don't know why. From my understanding. Yeah. I know today, maybe because of yesterday prayers, a bit mild, but he's guiding the witness for some time now.
I don't think if I seek clarification from witness, I'm guiding the witness.
Senator Sifuna, just remember that you are not doing a cross-examination on your client.
Yes.
Yeah, we are prosecuting another different matter from your usual court proceedings. But that's on a light note. Perhaps maybe what we must now ask the Auditor General, what did you want to see to close this query?
Chair, just before my colleagues answers that question, I want to point out to this committee that the JV that we're just looking at the next 855 CR, this is the JV passed in the month of October. And the final copy of the financial statements that was certified was done in February, March. So if these JVs were available in October, then why were they not given to the audit? Thank you, Chair. Then my colleague can come.
Yeah. So that's the question that we've been asking all along on all the other issues. Auditor, what did you said this is unresolved. So what did you expect to see?
Some of them are the SDB and they are supporting corresponding entries, but they are big accounts. That's what I wanted to say. But up to today, we have not received any annual entries, and we don't know which ones to.
Which ones are they?
This is cash and cash equivalents, an amount of 48 million. 358. There were some prior year adjustments of 434 million, 410 and 432, and also of goods and services. There was an amount of 134, 378, 954.
And on use of goods, is that what he was trying to explain as movements from competition of employees?
Yes, but it should have been demonstrated to us that indeed the figures that add up to this probably came from compensation from employees. We are not sure what it is up to now.
Now that we are on issues of financial statements, who signed these ones? Who was a signatory to this account, to statements? Kezia Okoth. Kezia is still in the county?
Yes, she is.
Is she part of this delegation?
She's not.
Kezia has since been replaced. She was acting director of accounting services, head of this unit, and the position has been filled by a substantive officer. Kezia is no longer in charge.
Who is now the head of accounting services?
Martin Opio, who unfortunately had an accident and is not with us here today. But we recruited a new head of finance.
Is Wilson Opondo Ados still in the country?
He is in the country, but he's not the chief officer of finance. We have since deployed Wilson and recruited a new chief officer of finance. He's sitting here today.
When you have to restate your financial statements, first of all, auditor, it's allowed.
Yes, it is allowed in accountancy, and even in audit, yes.
What are the timelines? Is there a timeline in which the financial statement should be frozen and not tampered with?
Well, once the Auditor General pays her signature, they cannot be released. But between the time they are produced up to the time she signs her, she applies her signature, the financial statements can be revised. Thank you.
Revision of financial statements is meant to deal with errors and inaccuracies.
True, sir.
So when you revise your financial statements and you still have an adverse opinion, what does that tell you?
There is poor record keeping, or somebody has not supported anything.
Yeah, of course, that reason really should move you from an adverse opinion to maybe a cool opinion. Because then it will give you the opportunity to support your expenditure and receipts. And that's why I'm very keen on the professional who signed these financial statements. Because you've been given an opportunity to redeem yourself, but you still find yourself in the same position. So again, these are things that we must put pressure on the professionals who have that responsibility. I think we should have gotten a different opinion on this if you had been given another 9 months to resubmit your financial statements. There are 2 lines there that are still outstanding. Now, Auditor General, find out whether you can get the notice to go to the Prof, is your team able to support the movements and the use of goods and services and the cash and cash equivalents? Those are the ones the Auditor General has kept pending.
Yes, we can, and those supporting documents are actually given later.
Auditor General, is it true that you're given the supporting documents? I'm talking about 2 specific lines, the ones that you cited: use of goods and services and cash equivalents.
Sure, just for record. They agree.
Which is the third one?
There is the prior adjustment of 437.
Was anything presented to you to explain those movements?
No.
The Auditor General says that was provided. And I think we are now starting to get a feeling that your team is misleading the committee. This is not the first time you have said that you had given the Auditor General something and then they have refuted. I think if you get the 3rd instance of misleading the committee, we'll have to adjourn. So, can you cause the documents to be presented to the Auditor General within the next 7 days?
So, Chairman, that's the best we can do because we have the document.
Okay, I think that's the best way to resolve this because I don't want to get into the counter accusations between the office of the Auditor General and the client. But I must tell you that where there is doubt, we will go with the word of the Auditor General. Let's go to issue of employees compensation of employees. Unsupported wages, Auditor General, is this still outside?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is compensation of employees, unsupported wages. The statements of receipts and payments reflect 4,464,057,566 and compensation of employees. However, the payroll provided to support the figure had a balance of 4,858,578, resulting to a variance of cash shillings 3,198,998. The variance was reconciled as below. We have shown it there with salary deductions, casuals, contracted medics, and an amount of 69,547 that was not explained. No explanation for paying the 2019-2020 salaries amount to Kenya shillings 308,975,845 in the financial year. The review of the constrained budget for 2019-2020 was received and authorized. Further, the reconciliation reflects an explained variance of cash shillings 69,580,147. Consequently, the accuracy of the compensation of employees amounting to shillings 4.4 billion could not be confirmed.
Okay, Governor.
Mr. Chairman, the events that was referred to was occasioned by delay in the disbursement of equity share, which resulted in payroll for June 2021 actually getting paid in the subsequent financial year. The outstanding 69,580 was never supported at the time of audit. It relates to the pay as you earn deductions for June 2021 that was actually paid in August 2021. And we have attached a payment schedule dated August 31st, August 2021. It is Annex 856 on page 107. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if Peter has it, but we have it here. Page 107. 107. Some people don't have it, but we have the annex here. It can be. But page 117 is blank.
107 is blank.
Yeah.
Well,
We know we cannot take documents directly from you. Something that has been reviewed by the Auditor General. Mr. Chairman, it was submitted and reviewed, just the compilation that did not include it. We're not submitting it now. Auditor General, have you seen whatever it is that they are referring to, which ought to be on page 7?
Chair, we can confirm that 856 annex was blank from it was not supported.
Because you said you received the responses by email.
Yes,
or it was in hard copy.
Yes, through email.
Through email. Prof, what do you suggest?
Mr. Chairman, I think there is a concurrence between the auditors and ourselves on the document received, because if there are no concurrence, there's very little you can do as chair, and I apologize for that. This may require an adjournment for the two parties to come to terms with the document they're bringing here.
I saw Senator Methu is left.
He walked out.
Oh, he walked out. Prof, Senator Dulo, I think from the beginning of the meeting, was afraid that her and I would find ourselves conflicted in running this meeting because we have been colleagues in the House. But I think we must do the job that we must do. And as I've said, we rely on precedents, some of which were established by you when you are on this chair. We had a lengthy discussion at the beginning on our readiness to proceed today. Even the 2020-2021 that we are attempting to go through, technically, the timelines within which the responses were submitted. You said you received them on Tuesday. Tuesday.
We received them on Tuesday 9th.
Was that clerk? How many days did we ask the clients to respond?
7 days. It was supposed to be on the 8th.
So they should have responded by
8th of Monday 8th.
By Monday. The 8th. And we just took. We decided to be pragmatic and said, let us not be too fixated with those timelines. But now it is emerging that that delay is now causing those inconsistencies that you're talking about. And because we didn't just want to send back home for delaying to respond by day. I think Senator Dulo advised that let's make lemonade out of it. But it appears that we might not be able to make a lot of progress if the Auditor General says this and the County Executive says something else. Honourable members, under these circumstances,
can I ask something?
Okay.
I think we have been very magnanimous with our brother, my neighbor. I've been very cautious because he's a very good neighbor. He has all the sugar factories I don't have. So I was very careful not to antagonize him. I might rule where they're crashing. What I'm trying to craft is that we have been anonymous. If it was another entity or another client, but we could not proceed. But my only concern, Governor Professor Anyang, SG Emeritus, does some of these colleagues or your colleague work with in the county, have they been having meetings with the auditor's office? Because we have option of taking only the opinion of the auditor. They have been not concurrent. It looks like they have never had any of the meetings to harmonize this, and these are just public issues that should have been resolved at some point or at the lowest level there before being escalated to the Senate. So, Governor, is it that since you have given these gentlemen and ladies a free hand, they say responsibility, leadership comes with a lot of responsibility. Did these gentlemen, when you do your cabinet meetings, when you have a form of progress reporting, have they had a chance of sitting down with the Office of the Auditor General? Because it looks some of these that looks like disjointed. Maybe an entry meeting, exit meeting, trying to build, because I'm glad you are CEC saying it is capacity, we were not doing this, we were not doing this. Maybe just a clarification before we proceed, we make a decision.
Mr. Chairman, through the Governor, I would like to clarify that meetings have been held. The auditors themselves outlined the number of meetings, from the entry meetings to the exit meeting and to the other meetings which are minuted, including meeting just before we came to the Senate for this session to cross-check documentation. So, Mr. Chairman, I wouldn't say more than that, but just confirm that the meetings that were held and the auditors also confirmed the same.
But if meetings were held, how can this annexure be blank?
Or even checking of the documents.
Because
the auditors had said they received an email. Sorry.
When I walked into this room, I was really excited looking at the way these documents are bounded. And I said content must be also the same. And somebody actually warned me, but now it has come to pass.
I think Senator Nyong'O said it's like wearing a dera.
Now, if you look at even some of the documents, page 122, 123, you'll see that there is a lot of actually errors in the way the documents are presented. So I think, personally, I would say having known for many years, his staff are the ones letting down. I think he needs to crack the whip, because this is unacceptable.
Now, Prof, from the submission of your CC, even if we give time or we gave them time to engage the Auditor General, what are they going to do differently? Because your team seems to be saying that they have already done what they're supposed to do. So what else is there for them to, if this is what they're calling their best? Annexures that cannot be read, missing, blank pages, and CC says they have already done their best.
The Chairman, that has made their best. I think that's something that can be corrected. I think our responsibility is really to go back between the executive and the auditors and make sure that proper things are done before they brought before the Senate committee, because we have seen here what is wrong, and rational people, the next thing is correct what is wrong and make sure that before it is set before the Senate that you are assured that what is coming before you is what we need to discuss. I think that I can promise.
Yeah, because if the documentation was we would have even taken written responses in most of the cases, but under the circumstances, it's very difficult for us to do so. There is a matter when we are doing the brief that caught the attention of the meeting. it's one matter that I can look at, even not just see how you have responded to it, because the Auditor General has flagged something relating to legal fees, which has been appearing in the financial statements of Kisumu County for a very long time. Now, Auditor General, maybe this could be the last thing we are dealing with before then we consider the adjournment request by the governor. Operating expenses, legal fees in relation to collection of rates. What was happening here is that you've got a legal fee that is earning interest. As we sit here, there's interest that is taking away money from other courses of development. So could you just read your finding and then we see what the county has to say about it and see whether this matter can be dealt to their logical conclusion.
Thank you, Chair. This is another operating expenses, paragraph 5.1, legal fees in relation to collection of rates. The statement of receipts and payments for the year ended 30th June 2021 reflects expenditure on use of goods and services of Kenya shillings 1.1 billion, that 9,806,559 as disclosed in 7 to the financial statement. Including the balance of Kenya shillings, in balance is Kenya shillings 1,319,305 in respect of other operating expenses, which further includes Kenya 46,572,175 for legal fees in relation to cases between the county government and the law firm engaged for debt collection by the Department of Council of Kisumu. However, the following issues were noted in respect of legal fees paid so far. According to case in the High Court of Kisumu, the law firm was engaged by the defunct Municipal Council of Kisumu to collect and then outstanding rates, and the firm was to retain 15% of the rates collected as their fees for the service. The firm collected over Kenya 40 million as unpaid rates, but failed to remit the money of the Municipal Council of Kisumu or their successor, as per the affidavit by the former Chief Officer, Department of Finance, dated 16 February 2017. The contracted law firm further sought from the court and had the certificate of cost pursuant to the taxation judgment entered in favor of the law firm against the county government for Kenya shillings 148,249,465, including interest at court rates from the 7th December 2015. The court allowed parties to agree on mode of settlement as per the court order. The two parties entered in consent, and from there from the consent, the court ordered that the outstanding decreed debt that stood at Kenya shillings 115 million in respect of the law firm be paid in installments. According to the report of the Auditor General for the year 2017-2018, the county had so far a total of Kenya shillings 41 million 702,700,000 that towards the legal fees. Given the period of review, the amount of Kenya shillings 20 million was paid by the county government. However, the register, reconciliation and advocate fee note in respect to the legal fees charge was not provided for audit review. In the circumstances, the validity of the expenditure of Kenya shillings 46,572,072 will not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, what was the county's response on that?
Mr. Chairman, our response is that the case is active and the decree order has been moving to court enforcement through the civil application numbers that are there, versus the county secretary and the others. The Attorney General are also given an advisory on the settlement of this decree alongside others, and there is an Attorney General's later. We have attached the Attorney General's advisory and reconciliation of the legal fee in relation to this case in the Annex 109. So if you look at annexes on page 109 to 124, which gives you the statement from the lawyers and your matter in terms of what they are owed on page 109 and how the balance is running. And then it also gives you on page 111 communication between the lawyer and the county government, indicating that the matter is active. On page 114, the lawyer presents 115. Actually, the lawyer presents a calculation of the balance as at 30 December 2021, and on page 116, the payment schedules are provided there and highlighted what amount has gone to the lawyer, and then we have the advisory from the Attorney General of the Republic on page 117, which requires statements. And to show that the matter is still in court, there is 125, which is a raise education. But Mr. Chairman, if you allow me again through the governor, we brought with us the county solicitor who is on top of this issue and may explain to the court since it's a legal matter. I mean to the Senate, sorry.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Through His Excellency Professor Nyong'O, I'm in office. How old? Months old, beginning of the year. The county attorney is not with us since a week ago. Now, in respect of this matter, aware of my role as an advocate on the High Court of Kenya and also my responsibility to the nation, I do sincerely think that there are facts that are out there which have yet to reach the Senate. If can you
use your mic?
Thank you. I think that the facts that attend to this case, which are still out there, which, in all honesty, the Senate needs to have. The management's response was forwarded before these facts reached us. This matter is actually not about one case. This matter is about 108 cases. It starts off with the first case that was filed by the Municipal Council of Kisumu, which had queried whether the advocate who had engaged to collect rates had accounted for the rates that he collected. So there was an originating summons that was filed, I believe, Senator Rugay will understand when I talk about originating sums. So the advocate was challenged to account for the funds that he collected, which he did not remit. In answer to this case, he filed 97 cases where he was seeking taxation of his bills, various bills. In respect of work that he has been handling, he was handling for Municipal Council of Kisumu. Some of the briefs related to matters that were not rates. So it is classified as fees in relation to collection of rates. That is all. Upon taxation of the advocates.
Just could I intervene? So what is he asking for payment for?
Thank you, Senator. The advocates' fees were taxed. It was taxed, and the taxation was defended by the Municipal Council. It was not an expert matter, and the court defined that that advocate was owed by Municipal Council a total of 179 plus million shillings. Now, in respect of the OS that was filed by Municipal Council, what could be demonstrated was 23 million. That was net set off, and in the process, what the county owed reduced to 150 million. This 150 million is supposed to attract interest. Now, I have studied the file, and there's a case for calculation of interest. I am aware that interest is not supposed to accrue on decree beyond 6 years, section 44 of the Litigation of Actions Act. This matter is active in court, and as we are talking, I am aware that it will be mentioned on the 18th of this month. I do have a lot.
And to ask you, the dispute you have is about the calculation of the amounts that are supposed to be paid because of the payment of the tax. Is that the major dispute, or is it the legitimacy and existence of this matter?
There is a judgment in respect of this matter.
Yes.
And therefore, when a query says that no fee note was presented, I think, with due respect, the SOA may not have appreciated the issue. It is not legal fee.
Okay, what did the judgment say? Well, I've looked at it here, but in simple terms, explain to us so that we can understand.
That the advocate was owed after netting of what he had not accounted for, 150 million.
Are you comfortable with that ruling? Remember, you're a public servant.
Yes.
So you have to work within the law.
And I'm looking you straight in the eye. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart the truth, as here. This is a matter that went through a judicial process.
Okay.
About 4 judges handled this matter. There is my former classmate, Justice Majanja. He handled the matter. There's Justice Nui. There's Justice Maina. And there's Justice Chemite. He has gone through the process. Yes.
Can I ask what was the general conclusion? Out of the 4 judges?
It was entered in favor of the advocate in the sum of 150 million.
So what is important now? What is the contention?
There has been enforcement proceedings. Now, in answer to the enforcement proceedings, we have raised a case where we are challenging whether or not the advocate competition is correct. We are questioning, for instance, whether interest is supposed to be paid beyond 6 years from the date the judgment came about, and like the provisions of Section 4 of the Limitations of Action Act. So on that basis, we are challenging the figures. So it's a question of figures.
Why is that? Why isn't that information in the written management response? Because that is what, when we do our retreat to write a report on this matter, we probably not recall what you said. We'll be learning what we see here, and what we see here is just an admission. The AG has given advisory, and the AG's advisory, paragraph 44, says that based on the foregoing, the general principles that the county government would like to compensate all legal fees found in accordance with the advocate's remuneration or arising from legal services provided. You have also cited supposed verbal directions from the from the office of the Auditor General. Governor, how do you confirm that? You said that there are some supposed verbal directions stopping the payment. Can the Auditor General stop payment by a county government?
No, the Auditor General cannot stop any payment.
So what is this in your written response?
Mr. Chairman, the issue raised by the Auditor General in another report, and not this one, but actually raising issues with the money that were not related to the municipal plan by the advocate, and that part of responsible stoppage of payment is not accurate.
Waziri,
yeah.
But there is already a determination on this matter. You understand where I'm coming from? There's already determination. The Auditor General will not stop payment of anything, not even the OG. Control of budget.
Yes, because I think there is some lack of synergy from this end to your end.
It's true, Mr. Chairman, that the details of the application, I think the fact that put in response are: one, the clearance by the Attorney General that the payment is legitimate, like that through that advisory. The second fact that we have put is that the matter is, however, still active in court. As to the nature of the issues that are being contested in court, we have not annexed documents. We should have run the full application in court, which say that issues, the details of the application in court are A, B, C, and as the council solicitor has explained, the issues being contested in court relate to the interest, the issues being contested in court relate to the calculations. So below the letter on page 125, maybe we should have annexed the full application. Otherwise, we do not have any evidence that says the payment is illegitimate. So we will get the full application. The issues that are contested in court, I don't think they fully affect the legitimacy of the matter.
No, we got our standing order on matters sub judice, so we cannot go into details and of what is in court. But from your response here, it does not be that out clearly, because I think that the one Joga is saying this is giving supplementary information that is not here. That's why it should have been captured in writing.
And you are right, because that's why we asked the solicitor to come. Because it's a response predated the information that the solicitor has, because the case is active in court. So it's better to give precedence to what the solicitor is saying, because it's more updated with the case being in court, which we are not.
You answer the mic.
No, actually, the clarification that has come from George has cleared the question I had. Chair, there's almost a stigma amongst county executives and other entities from just admitting that they pay lawyers. There's nothing wrong with just saying we'll pay this money because that is the finding of a court. No, nobody is higher than the courts. It doesn't matter what the Auditor General says. If there is a court order, you will not blast it. They will not come for it. Yeah, so if a bill has gone through the proper legal channels, it has been taxed. So if you are at the state of arguing about the actual figure involved in the questions of interest, that's a totally different issue. But your hands are tied. The question of the pay is money. There is nothing wrong with that. So you just say we'll pay, but we need to finalize the question based on whether it is legal.
I go to page 135. You have the miscellaneous civil application number 236 of 2012, Graph Fabricators Limited versus Municipal Council of Kisumu. You say need. What is the general of this one? What are the outstanding issues?
Thank you.
Yeah, that made it being brought here to this.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator. If I may, first and foremost, part of the problem arises perhaps because the SOA might not have understood the issues with due respect that relates to this matter. From the opening paragraph, I realized that the auditors were facing the wrong animal. They were looking at the wrong side of the issue. This is a matter that was in court. It's filed in the year 2002. A judgment was delivered in 2006. The facts of the case are that gun fabricators were awarded a contract, they did some work, they partially paid, and they went to court claiming balance of the payment. The result was a decree against Municipal Council of Kisumu in the year 2006. It is not a matter that payment flows from a demand, as it is indicated here. And then further, there are some facts that have been imported into this fabrication company case, which actually led to the Kenpur matter. If you look at if I could be allowed to read this, Further information available indicated that a special executive committee meeting held on 22nd June 2021 on the submission of any bills claimed by fabrication company Rate Connecting Law Firm resolved that the agenda be held pending discussion between the governor, county attorney, county executive committee member, and the attorney general also was to seek an opinion from the attorney general and pursue the matter further to the CECM. These are facts that relate to the other case. The consent that is alleged to have been reported on 2021 does not relate to this case, the girl fabrication. It relates to the case of Ken Pundo, the Red's case. So facts are a bit similar here. What we have in the girl fabrication case is a judgment that is pending execution. It is a matter that is also active in a portion of the matter is before the Court of Appeal. A portion of the matter is confirmation before Justice AJAABU tomorrow. But the issues that are before the court include whether a decree that is beyond 12 years can still be the subject of execution, and whether interest can accrue on a decree beyond 6 years from the time the decree is passed.
Now, let's stop there. Under the circumstances, it appears you have many cases in progress. I'm looking at your contingent liabilities register, and it is blank. Annex 8, contingent liabilities register. City Finance, what is expected of you for contingent liabilities?
Mr. Chairman, we are making that transition from cash accounting to accrual accounting. And our understanding is that using a cash basis of accounting, you do not recognize contingent liabilities as such.
All other counties do it. Auditor General, what aspect of them as far as contingent liabilities are concerned?
We should maintain a contingent liability register. That's a requirement.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with cash and accrual.
Yes.
Senator, please don't drop. Sorry, I did not.
So. Mr. Chairman, my name is Chombe, Senator Fanyara, and I'm a member of this committee.
Sharing something else on the comment on the legal cases that the council brought out. We said in our report that the manager did not maintain legal files containing professional opinions from the county of which case, on whether the figures presented by the advocate for proper payout. So, even as he gives a long story from reports, you move from the ledger to the financial. And that's where we get information from. If they do not give us kind of information talking about, we shall not repeat the information that they have given us. So, actually,
and as long as this contingent liability register is blank, I think that's a failure on the part of those who prepare these financial statements. That's why I was very keen on finding out who this person is. Is he our cause? In some counties, Prof, was in issue. When we looked at their books, we realized that litigation progress. If the counties lose those cases, and most of them have to do with land, the county will be bankrupt. We saw the same thing in Machakos, and that would be maybe Akifi. Akifi also had a lot of matters in court, including things to do with regulation assistance. Now, Kisumu seems to be facing a similar risk. You've got these matters that have been dragging from 2002 before position, and I think they just lead to the two issues that are before us. shows a lot of litigation that is going on. Now that needs to be disclosed. And the contingent liabilities register, Dr. Mulwa, what supposed to be captured? Perhaps the case number and
even the purpose for the payment.
the purpose for
Oh, sorry. The template, actually they are supposed to use our template on contingent liabilities, but more practically, the case is supposed to be captured, the case number, the case itself indicating what is at hand, and the contingent amount. Yes.
And in the explanatory notes, contingent liabilities.
And also you should make a disclosure, because this is a lot of money.
A possible obligation that arises from past events and whose existence will be confirmed only by the occurrence of an occurrence of one or more uncertain future events, etc. Some of the contingent liabilities may arise from litigation in progress. So I think, Governor, you must insist. The only time you say that files are not being maintained for cases, so that tells there's a problem within that office. Now we've got the county attorneys. I think we've got an act that was processed when you were in the Senate, or it was processed after it left the Senate. We must demand that disclosure be made in the financial statement of contingent liabilities. For example, this came to matter. Already some amount had already been declared as required to be paid to the advocates. That should be disclosed. Contingent liability. So maybe the office of the solicitor county attorney must work with the office of the CC Finance to have that visibility. Otherwise, you will be hit with claims. And I think there is a ruling that could allow persons to attach or to issue orders against the government. And I think that perhaps will land the guys in a lot of trouble.
Situation, to the Governor, I think we'd really like to seek further clarification on this matter because some of us have been affected personally by being arrested and taken to court. I would like to seek clarification from the National Treasury in terms of that disclosure, and particularly on the value of the disclosure. And again, in the specific circumstances that you're in, where we have matters that are still progressing in court, the chair is right that in Kisumu, it is not just this matter. The other issues that relate to the transition land, government houses with the National Land Commission, the National Housing Corporation, all of these matters have values that are contested. So the direction of election and the advice we seek through the chair from the National Treasury is the values to recognize under contested circumstances.
Senator,
I'm actually surprised you're saying what you're saying. You already have a against you. I'm shocked you researched yourself that you're actually being arrested and being taken to court. You said something about your accounts being garnished, which means you can't operate. You have an opinion from the Attorney General. You yourselves, including Senior Counsel here, said there are some issues that may be remaining on the such matter, and I'm just looking at it casually. Is that you're discussing the interest should be charged beyond the statutory period of 6 years, which the law is against. But in terms of the ruling and the agreements which should be there, I don't think that this is, you see, the reason why we are interrogating this matter, all the county governments are refusing to pay paying bills. Even where the control of budget, the Auditor General, everybody is saying, please pay. So for us at the Senate, what do we do? Those are issues we're dealing with. And these are matters that are taking some people 12 years, 8 years, 6 years. You are there. I mean, we were looking at this with them. And they're saying the documents or the information we're supposed to have, we don't have it. So I think you're the ones who are even making it difficult for yourselves not to pay. Some of these people, they don't have to pay the books.
Yeah, see, as I Sifuna, the guidance you need is already in the law. Section 185.2 of PFM is the one that addresses contingent liabilities. So you need to go and look at that. And it's actually captured in your explanatory notes in the financial statements. So just do the right thing. Make that disclosure. So
correct me if I'm wrong, but the requirement there was you disclose the amount you would pay if you lost that case. And it's very easy to ascertain because the court documents will disclose the value that the person is claiming. So the word contingent, that means if dependent upon the outcome of the you disclose that. There is something else about arrest, because when you take those positions, there are certain natural consequences that are tied to those positions. That you are the PS correct. Those are the consequences as governor. You have the choice not to be in the CEC, but because you are the accounting officer, if I have a order against Kisumu County, and at the point of enforcement of that order, they are required to be somebody to go to prison. It can't be anybody else. So what you do is you negotiate during your hiring for that hardship allowance to be included, because you are the one who is going keeping the sales. It's not going to be the governor. But the easiest way out, governor, is, part of the frustration from people who have pending those counties is that nobody talks to them. But until I have an order, warrant of arrest, you will not even pick the calls. It is possible for this county government to sit down with all the supply into one room and just tell them that the bills have been cleared. Everybody understands your problems with lex releases, the fact that resources are very minimal, the high way you have the prioritization of certain things in the country. But if you have an open conversation with the people who owe money and tell them we can sit down and agree on a payment plan, you can show them this is the money that we receive every month for every year. This is the expectation from exchange, and then your budget, let them see that there is provision for payment of because our frustration as a center for TCRC, we are going to our place, governor. We are actually considering Senate paying those bills ourselves. We just hold that amount of money like Nairobi here, governor. We are at 107 billion shillings pending bills. So what we are discussing is it not possible each year we are giving them 20 billion from the exchequer. Why can't the Senate take 2 billion every financial year and say we are going to pay these bills ourselves? Budget on merit of who should get paid first, because if we find you, you're not paying them. You're not paying them until you are arrested. And you spend, I don't know what they take you, is it Kisumu Central? Yeah. And I support future, I support, I did a honorable from next somebody's going to record cookies on you saying you cannot hold public office because you refuse to on your obligations, or you won't know.
Mr. Chairman, I want to assure the phone that we are actually going through beyond that really. We are looking at our budget very critically. And in the constraints, we definitely have got good contingency plan. Not in the budget. But let me say, as I was telling George, that you should complain about the adjustment of administration. Some of us worst places. Not that bad.
Yeah, I think what was on some to the committee is the interest that continue to accrue on these issues. Even has moved from one page to the other. And I'm looking at page 115 of your annexures. Now, on page 115, is the accrued interest 160 million?
That's right.
Please correct, Mr. Chairman. Accrued interest of 169 million. That is the figure. That is not risk process. That is
interest loan.
Interest alone, yes, of 169 million.
That's right.
And the principal was 171.
That principal, which was opening as of that time, so that means it was the original principal plus interest up to February 2021, which led to the calculation for the year of 2021. So the original principal is the only one, but the principal treated as principal 2021 is the original plus the interest up to that time.
169 million.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm just trying to, your vehicle parking fees for that financial year was 188 million. What you collected from vehicle parking in that year, 188 million. So it would have to say that everything you're collecting from vehicle parking is going to service interest on a loan. I don't know whether you've got any strategy to get out of this beyond what is in court.
can you, I'd like to request time to check on these figures. Yeah, if you allow me.
The
also, this is declaimed by the government, is declaimed by the advocate, and the government is right that we are verifying this because it's not a computation.
This is not a computation.
No, that's yeah. So that's a claim.
Which one is your computation?
We have not touched our computation.
But the interest is 12%.
Yeah.
So those are the issues you are prosecuting in court.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you have a claim that is attracting that kind of interest, then you must take a decision, because every single minute it grows, and if you bid for that person, then it would be something very untidy to go back and tell your people to pay parking fees, and then the parking fees end up servicing interest. On a claim by an advocate, because this then would become avoidable. This is avoidable. How do you avoid it? By paying. But we take up the matter is still in court. Yeah. So this matter, I hope that the request you have made, that you try to look into matter your own complaint, that when we come back, we'll have clarity on the status, we'll be able to see the impact this matter is having on the county revenue. And if the matter is determined in court, give us that information, because we cannot sit here sending money to Kisumu County and that money ends up in private pockets. We also cannot sit here and encourage the county government to defy legitimate orders of the court. If the court orders, I think that was the advisory of the Attorney General, not the right thing to do. But ultimately, we hope that to solve the people of Kisumu, that this pain of interest on matters can be avoidable. We will then, I think, government had asked that we give you time to have a better conversation with the Office of Auditor General. Perhaps these are benefits that only accrue from a chair of this committee. Otherwise, we would have been very harsh and we would have issued a reprimand very strongly. But I think your team must also pull up their socks. It takes effort to come to Nairobi. It takes effort to set aside a Monday to come for this session. So you should come for something. If your paperwork was proper, if there was consensus with the Office of the Auditor General, we'll take your responses in most of the cases. So we'll give an opportunity so that when we come back, we deal with the remaining issues in 2021 and deal with our reports on the receipt of revenue and the main report for June 2022. I hope that we'll be able to out of these things of bank reconciliations and receipts and interest. It is not
the rest of your brains for you to come here and tell us how journals were posted or how journals were not posted. The conversation that I would really love to have with you as a former colleague and as a governor who's on the ground. This audit process, we can improve it. You now have funds and various fund account statements that come to the Senate. I've taken a view which I know some people do not agree with. That a fund established by regulations of the county assembly should be decided at the county assembly. A fund established by national legislation should be cited by Senate. So that would be the county revenue fund, made emergency fund, because those are established by national legislation. But if the MCAs in Kisumu decide to establish a biashara fund, they're the ones who do the regulations, they're the ones who should oversight it. But you see, we can't have that conversation because we're still counting journals. We're still discussing, primitive accounting issues. Well, I heard the CC say that you guys were busy in Senate last week and all that kind of stuff. It's part of the job description. But after 10 years of evolution, I think that is the discussion we should be having. The only concern is what Nyong'O has already demonstrated, that they're still in the year 2019. So that even if we want to allow them to oversight the funds that they've established through regulation, will they ever do it? And that's why the governor has to come to Nairobi every other month to respond to small funds. So it's untidy, and it's a conversation we need to have. Unless, Prof, you have not them come to the Senate to discuss all the funds that you have in Kisumu. Chairman, if you ask my colleague Soti, I was discussing some of these issues with him, Senator Soti, last time we came through his committee, that I thought some of these issues could be sorted out by the accounting officers and leave us for policy making and direction for the counties, My problem is look for money from donors from private sector and make sure that there is investment in Kisumu because I don't know the national government. Sometimes coming here is quite costly. I took my time and perhaps to do other things. But since it is the law, and before, and now the executor, I have to oblige. Yeah, we must find a framework that works. We are now moving to the accrual basis, and it will be possible to consolidate financial statements. And what governors talk about it. They need to come to the Senate to discuss consolidated financial statements rather than discussing 10 different sets of financial statements. I think that's a policy conversation that hopefully we can have through the engagement between the COG and the Senate. But in my mind, I think the Assembly should deal with those funds that they have established, and the Senate deals with the funds established by national legislation. I request the Chairman of the Senate, COG actually to reach out to you so that we can have a meeting between the Senate and the COG outside. Our normal schedule, so that kind of get together, kind of what let's say summit or seminar or whatever you call it. We can discuss the thing that's governors and the Senate and come to some understanding of what needs to be done. So I'll ask the Chairman to reach out to you so that can be done. Okay, so we have come to the conclusion. We have not concluded all the matters. We have still to go back and direct his team to have a conversation with the Office of the Auditor General. County Assembly, please also try to do your best to be up to date. The same power that we have to call the governor to compel production of evidence, you have that power. Perhaps you may not call the governor, but you have the power call the CCs and chief officers to appear before the assembly. So please, you can clearly tell that the Senate wants to give you more work. We want to leave much more work in your hands, but you also need to prove to us that you are up to that task. Chairman, in closing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think the commission, the chairmanship, it is a good expense. Whatever we should be transferring back. It is one interesting for disappointment and noting some gaps within the county. However, I may disagree with the opinion on counties and oversighting matters concerning the assemblies. I think the primary role of the county is very clear, and the question is very clear on what we should be handling or what we should be handling. I think we will not be taking all the oversight roles for Nairobi and leading companies with the peanut to handle. We should be given what is belonging to us. The constitution is very clear. We can't allow our personal pronouncements to actually mutilate the constitution. You have to work within the constitution. It is very clear. Thank you. What are you referring to? Just because by taking the notes of oversight role on some funds which are allocated and then allocated by the national and then the county. What is the problem? The problem is that it seems from your it is clear that you are seeing some of the roles should be taken to the Senate from the counties. Before you respond, could I respond, Chairman? Yes. How many financial years have you oversighted for the last years? Well, we are going to give you. Before even the chairman has maybe get what the chair said, because they are saying exactly the opposite of what they are saying. What the chair is saying is that all the funds that have been established by the counties, the remainder of the county, be oversighted by the county. In fact, it's actually adding more work to the county assembly. Actually, in his own words, he was asking the governor, do you get this right? You come to Nairobi to discuss the BSF, come to Nairobi to discuss another small one that has been established by NCS in the county. What the chair said is that all these things should be sorted out at your level. And the question that Senator is asking is very legitimate. Even as we push more funds to be oversighted at the county, I mean, why do you have to look at this that you not be able to, I mean, what is in your plate? You are yet to exhaust. We have more which we have to agree. But, I mean, that is not an issue. The view that you want more just come to your account. So, Chairman,